Hey all. Um, so while the Behemoth 2 is designed for guitar, there's, I mean, hey all. So while the Behemoth 2 is designed for bass, there is nothing stopping it from sounding awesome on guitar, as you will see. Been meaning to do a guitar demo for it forever, and I keep forgetting, and I remember, and then I forget, and so here's one that I actually built kind of by mistake. So I'm like, okay, it's here now. I'm going to use it to do a demo, and then I can put it up for sale. Um, so quick rundown on the Behemoth controls. You have the drive control. This determines how hard the input signal drives the input of the circuit. So as you turn it up to the right, it gets louder and dirtier. We have the clipping voice. There's 3 different selections. These determine how the circuit distorts the sound. Now, at low drive settings, the three different clipping voice settings kind of sound similar. As you turn up the drive, you'll hear the difference. What it is since this determines how it clips, it doesn't have a big effect until you start clipping the signal. Position 1 is the most uncompressed, old school tube amp breakup kind of one of the bunch. Clipping voice 2 introduces some diode clipping, LED clipping, so it becomes more compressed and more asymmetrically clipped, so you get this kind of clip tone with sort of a strong fundamental overtone. And then clipping voice 3 is more of the same, but it's more compressed, and you'll really hear the fundamental very clear, like it has almost like a clean blend going through it, which is great for bass players. And I don't really like clean blends. I've always found them kind of odd. I feel like it's much better to have, if you're going to do that, to have the clean side have the tone shape kind of roll off the high, so that you have the distortion providing, you have the distortion part of a pedal just providing the clipping, the high harmonics, all that stuff, and then you have blended with that just a strong fundamental that doesn't have a bunch of high harmonics in it. Whatever, that's something for another video. But yeah, so then we have the waveform control. This is kind of an odd control to try to explain. It's part diode compression, part clipper, and part filter. It kind of has this cool, almost scooped mid type effect to it, and it kind of adds some amount of distortion and makes it a little darker. It kind of gives you this deep, heavy sound. And then you have the filter, which is just a passive low pass filter. So anyway, let's take a listen to this. That distortion you hear is coming from the amp, not coming from this. It's just there's enough gain on tap, even with it set to kind of a clean boost setting that it is. And then from there you can just with a guitar, you can really even start turning the drive up without it distorting too much. Here, I'll keep it down to show you where the distortion's coming from here. Alright, let's take a listen to Clipping Voice 2. You can hear it's getting more distorted and more compressed. Now would be a good time for me to kick on. There's a little dip switch inside that boosts the gain, and I really like it when using it on guitar, well, on bass too, but it adds more gain, so you get more potential saturation, distortion, output, punch, all that stuff. You can really hear the filtering effect when you turn this all the way up. I tend to like it kind of halfway. Sounds are like real old school. I really wanted it to fulfill my need for a pedal that would give me, the kind of breakup that I hear from like Jack Bruce and Cream and Geezer Butler and Sabbath and Tim Bogert and Vanilla Fudge. That like just it's funny. I've said it before. There's so few pedals that really try to emulate like 60s and 70s tube distortion. The ones that you think are trying to do that are just so slick that it's like, no, listen to those albums. None of them sound like that at all. let's listen to 3. Like I said, this is will give you the most distortion, but it also gives you the most kind of in-your-face fundamental. You really notice the fundamental a lot when you're playing it, using bass with it. It's just you hear the dual nature of the tone. It's clearer, more defined, I guess. Oh, and as you may be noticing, the waveform control acts differently on Clipping Voice 3. It has to do with how the symmetry of the clipping is being done. Anyway, that's the Behemoth 2 on guitar. You know, one of the great things about the Behemoth 2 is also that it plays well with other pedals. So if you want to drive another distortion pedal, or boost it, or just combine it to get one big massive, you know, ball of heaviness, you know, it really works well that way. And it's, you know, it's because it does a decent job at keeping what you put into it going through. You know, I'm not going to say that it's transparent, because it's not. It obviously has some effect on your tone, but it does. There's not a lot of processing going on from the input to the output. It's very simple, and because of that, so much, you know, a lot of the content that goes into it comes out of it. So, yeah. Alright, y'all. Thanks.